Hey everybody, this is Low Carb Carnivore. I am making my video for my YouTube channel to give you an explanation on how not only got to be the weight that I am today and have all the health problems that I have today, but to explain my carnivore journey, how I found carnivore, how I got to that point in my life. It all started back when I was young, normal kid. Up until about 7 years old, I was a heavy kid, almost from practically go. So I always spent my life, I was always about 50 pounds at least, heavier than everybody, every one of my friends, every one of my peers around me. So I was always the big kid and the fat kid. And it was just, if you've been there, you know how it goes. But it continued on through my teens, and we were poor. We didn't have the best of food choices, and it stemmed down like there's a couple people in my family that were fit and trim and everything, and I always just thought, well, they got the good genes and they got good genetics, and that's why they're thin and why I'm fat, because I got bad genes. But years down the line, up until now, I realize that's not necessarily the case. But I went ahead and, I've tried all kinds of fad diets. I've tried being more active. I've tried eating more fruit. I've tried eating vegetables. I've did all the crazy diets. I've even tried, what was that? The Atkins diet for a little while. But it was just seems so crazy and not obstructive, but restrictive. I didn't have the motivation to try it back then. But like I was saying, heavy for all the way up into my teens, and right about 20, I had a breakthrough, and I found something, a way, and I got motivated. All for the wrong reasons, definitely for the wrong reasons, for chasing girls and everything. It should have been, doing it for myself. But I went ahead and found this lady through a magazine that I was reading. My mom showed me an article about these exercises, and it caught my attention because I'd seen this lady on TV. Her name was Greer Childers, something like that. She was a workout guru in the 80s, and she had these isometric breathing exercises. If you've seen it, you'd crack up laughing because the facial expressions and the breathing technique is hilarious. But I thought there was something to it, so I was desperate. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try anything. So I went ahead, and my diet was the same. I kept it exactly the same. Didn't cut out no kind of special foods. I still eat candy, still drink pop. I've been an asthmatic all my life, and unfortunately, a really dumb choice on my part. I was a smoker as well. I started about 17, but I'm getting sidetracked. But yeah, I tried this workout routine with hers. It was like just small isometric exercises and breathing techniques and stuff. And you do holds and poses and everything, and it was really easy to do. So I figured, okay, I could do it, these sets of poses a couple times and go through, and it's real easy, and it'd be easy for me to stick to. And then I went ahead and I'd go on walks 3-4 times a week around the lake around my area. It was like 4 miles a walk, something like that. It was just, pretty doable. And anything that I would normally eat, I would still eat the same kind of foods. I just cut my portion in half. So excuse me, little did I know I was practically starving myself, and I was always hungry, and I was just always like, looking and trying. But my willpower held out for a while. I went from 280 pounds at 20 years old to down to 209. So I lost weight, and I was feeling better, and I had a lot more energy. But unfortunately, because it was just a band-aid. I didn't change the root cause, the root effect of why I was fat. I went ahead and let people and things and life pull me away from my diet. So I slowly started to gain weight again and got up to about 300 pounds. And about the time when I was about 27, I had met my now wife of 16 years, and we got married and started living together and had my now 15-year-old son. And during her pregnancy is kind of comical because normally the girls gain the pregnancy weight, and my wife only gained like 17 pounds, and I was the one who gained all the weight during the pregnancy. I went from 300 to about 360, give or take a couple pounds. And I don't know, I was just so stressed being a new husband, a new father, taking on that role and everything. I was just like stress eating all the time, and any little worry, I'd bury myself in that, and that's how I dealt with my stress back then. But years went on, and we got into our new place, and things were going really good. I was working a job as an auto mechanic, and I was always like having like these bouts of constipation, like just severe, horrible constipation. It just sucked so bad because ever since like the Big G cereals came out with the whole grain, ever since then it was like anytime I ate cereal, it was bad. But I remember having a great big mixing bowl full of Honey Nut Cheerios, and after that I could not go for 7 days. I was like, this is nuts. Okay, so cereal is off the menu for me if it's going to keep doing this to me. And then after that, my constipation just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and I would just keep getting the same advice from doctors. You need to eat more fiber. Chuck, you need to eat more fiber. And it's like, Doc, if I eat any more fiber, I'm going to turn into a friggin' tree, dude. Please. I'm serious. I was drinking like huge tall glasses of Metamucil several times a day, plus having the fiber tabs, plus I had 3 or 4 bags of like the steam fresh vegetables a day. And, I was trying, and I was working out and trying to get more exercise, drinking a lot of water. Well, all that was for naught because it just kept making it worse and worse and worse. And from straining and straining through all that, the first major problem I ever got was hemorrhoids. And if you've ever had hemorrhoids, they're not fun. Just a little brief here. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to get too descriptive for you, but anybody who's been there knows it's not fun. Everyone was like, okay, just go ahead and have the surgery. It's quick, same day, you'll be in and out, you'll be fine, and you'll heal up in a couple of weeks. Okay, well, for me, that wasn't the case. It was hell. It was like the most painful thing I've ever been through at that point. And I was just like, it took about 6 months for me to get back to normal. And you'd think that would be enough to try to figure out better options for my diet, but nope. After that, it seemed a little easier, and I just still kept getting constipated, and then eventually that turned into diverticulitis. And from the diverticulitis, my intestines being all swollen up, I had my intestine and my bladder fused together, and a hole from them rubbing from all the pressure fused the hole in between the two, so I had constant bladder infections. And I was just feeling like I was gonna die like all the time. I was just feeling so bad. I went ahead and I had to get surgery. I had 20 centimeters of my intestines removed. After that, things seemed pretty good for as far as like my digestion goes and everything. It seemed a lot better than it had been in years. So that worked out for the better. But my diet still wasn't that great. And I had gone ahead and had some kind of complication with the surgery because I was a streamer on Twitch for a couple of years, but I had a little thing on there to where the people viewing could go ahead and spend channel points to go ahead and be like, here, do 5 push-ups or do 10 sit-ups or something like that. Well, someone came in and, I probably should have set limits on it looking back on it, but they come in and had me do like sign up for like 20 or 30 push-ups, and I was like probably about 8 months out from healing from that surgery. And to my surprise, because I mean at that point I had ballooned up after that surgery. It's crazy. I know people seem like say all the time like it seemed like I just gained the weight overnight. It literally seemed like I gained it overnight, because I remember waking up one morning and like going, holy crap, how in the hell did I get this fat? It blew my mind. But I went from 360 roughly, give or take a few pounds, all the way up to about 430 pounds. I was like severely depressed and just defeated at that point. So I figured, okay, I'm streaming, I'm playing on here, I gotta find ways to get myself more active. So I was like, had people sign up for points. I'd get down, to my surprise, being that heavy, I was able to do 10 push-ups, like full on push-ups, and I was like, wow, I'm really impressed that I could push up all that weight for me. So I get back in my chair and pops up another 10 for me to do another 10. I'm like, all right, went ahead, down on the floor. The first one I did, just immense pain. Just, oh, bam, I rolled over on my back. I was like, sorry, I pulled something. I can't, I can't do it. So that came to an end. And about a month later, I started noticing, about where the surgical incision was that was already healed up. I started to get a little bit of a hernia. Well, over time, because, being a man, sometimes lifting heavy things is unavoidable. Shoveling heavy snow, raking, being physical, you can't avoid life. So it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Even right now, it's about the size of a grapefruit, at least. It's pretty big. But I'm stuck in the position now where I can't afford health insurance because we make too much money, and the jobs that my wife has had where they've offered health insurance don't cover pre-existing conditions, and they consider that a pre-existing condition. Getting medical from the state, they say we make too much, so it's like, all right, I'm just gonna have to figure out something. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna start changing the things that I can change. So my son being about like 10 or 11 roughly, he's been asking me for years, Dad, could you please quit smoking? Could you please quit smoking? I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a try, and I'll give it a try. And I tried a couple times, but, I always went back to it. And then about 3 years ago, roughly, this mid-September will be 3 years, I went ahead at school, like before, like 2 weeks into his school session, and I was like, buddy, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to quit smoking for you again. But so I went ahead and I bought myself a vape to, exchange one habit for another, but in the long run it worked. And I went ahead and went from the highest nicotine juice, was like a 24, all the way down. And I had a system, I had it all planned out in my head. So I went ahead at a 24 nic, did that one round, I bought one bottle of 24. And then after that one bottle, I went down to, I think it was like the next level, whatever the next level was. And then after that, I doubled the round. So like I bought 2 bottles of the next lower level. And then after I went down from that, every time I went down a level, the levels doubled. So by the time it got down to like almost 0, I was like 20 rounds in or something like that. And so I was like really like weaning myself off the nicotine. Then one day I woke up and puffing on my vape, and I was like, oh man, my coil's burnt out. Oh, this stuff tastes horrible. And I'm like, I've been at a zero nic for about a month now. Why am I even doing this anymore? So I was like, you know what? Forget this. Boom. Threw it in the garbage. I'm done. I don't need this. And so I started taking breath mints and, stuff like that for my oil fixation, and trying to do something with my hands. And eventually it came to where I didn't even need to do that anymore. But in the midst of those 3 years trying to quit smoking and vaping and everything, now this is where the carnivore stuff comes in, and ketogenic lifestyle comes in. I went ahead and was watching YouTube, because being that big and that unhealthy, having all these different health problems, edema, asthma, big hernia. You know, there's not much I could do, and standing too long hurts, sitting too long hurts. So, you know, I was stuck doing whatever I could do. But I was sitting watching YouTube one day, and I came across a video from a lady named Health Coach Kate. She's a ketogenic coach, and she, you know, gave ketogenic advice and everything. But she had a video like seven signs that you have. What is that called again? Come on, brain, think. It was has to do with. I'll get back to that. But anyway, I found her. She had a video on insulin resistance. There you go. It was insulin resistance. And it's a 7 sign you're insulin resistant. I was like, insulin resistant? I've never heard that term before, which is really odd because I've been to several doctors, and at this point I'm already type 2 diabetic, like borderline type 2 diabetic, and I've never heard these words uttered in my life from any doctor. Funny, huh? While they're telling me eat carbs and eat this and that and eat more fiber, and it's just, anyway, I can go on forever. I'm just not happy with the medical field. But the founder, you know, watching the video, I was like, oh, that's really interesting, you know. And I was like, hold on a minute. Skin tags, yep, check. Oh, dark spots, yep, check. So, you know, swollen feet and legs, okay, yep, check. And tired, depression, just like a checklist. The only thing that I didn't have was I wasn't pregnant. I wasn't a pregnant female. I was like, okay, that's crazy. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm gonna look more into that. Then I found a couple other doctors that, you know, talked about how to reverse insulin resistance, and I stumbled across Dr. Eric Berg, Dr. Eric Westman. And through watching all those videos, found another lady, Keto Crazy or Keto Chaos or something like that. And I was like, just really impressed. Like, wow, you know, she lost all this weight just from eating this certain way. It's just, this is crazy, you know. So getting all excited about it. So I talked to wife, and I was like, hey, you know, you've been saying you want me to get healthy, and I really think this could work. And this lady lost a bunch of weight, and they're talking. I explained the whole insulin resistance thing to her, and she's like, all right, well, you know, I'm willing to do whatever it takes for you to go ahead and help you lose weight. So let's do it. Let's next check, we'll go ahead and we'll buy all the stuff we need. And in between then and there, you know, trial and error, I was still learning about what to eat, what not to eat, and studying, just constantly studying. But off and on did keto for about 6 to 8 months off and on, and it was good. I lost a little bit of weight. I got down to about 376 was my lowest before I started continually falling off the wagon, which Larry or Cassie, if you end up watching this video, that's where I have a lot in common with you, and I could definitely feel where you guys are coming from, because I fell off the wagon so many times. It was bad, but, you know, and I probably could have been further in my journey if I hadn't kept going back to my lifestyle. But the good thing about going back from that old lifestyle is every time I went back, I felt bad. I just felt so horrible from going back and eating that old food. Because I remember the first time my son was sitting there eating a pizza, and he was like, oh, I don't like this. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that to go to waste. You know, there's only one piece is missing. And I was like, oh, I'll just go ahead and eat it. One pizza, you know, a couple pieces of pizza ain't going to kill me. And immediately, like a couple hours after, I felt like, started getting a headache, started feeling groggy. I'm like, man, this is harsh. I was like, I didn't think I was going to feel this bad, but, you know, and then after that and got back on, I'm like, okay, no more doing that. And then I went ahead and fell off again for, I got a bad infection on my legs, and I had to go into the hospital and get treated with bunch of antibiotics and everything. It was some kind of really bad infection, just funky, just nasty, and it was bad. So then I got stuck eating hospital food while I was in the hospital, and everything, and so I fell off that, but went a little bit too far ahead. But the how I found carnivore, at that point I had already been kind of dabbling in the carnivore, but after doing keto on and off and on, I saw, of course, you know who I'm gonna say, Dr. Kent Berry. Not surprised, I know, because whenever I hear that, so many people have found him. But I was sitting there going through YouTube once again, and I saw carnivore. I was like, what? There's no way. There's no way people could just eat meat. That's nuts, man. That's nuts. That's crazy. I was like, all right, well, if anything, this will be a good laugh. How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna just eat meat? And I was like going through a couple of his videos, and I'm like, okay, well, I can kind of see how that works and everything. But just like Carrie from Homestead How said, it wasn't until I started reading through the comments, going, wow, this person reversed this, reversed that. Holy, what? This is crazy. Okay, I could see how some people that are like, I don't know, not necessarily celebrities, but people who are up there can look at something like that and see a way to make a fast buck, and not necessarily lie, but bend the truth or whatever. But when I see in person after person, I mean thousands upon thousands of comments of how carnivore has changed people's lives, I was like, okay, there's something to this. I'm gonna check into it. I'll talk to the wife and see if she wants to do this and go this far, this extreme with me. Because at this point, it's like, I don't know what else to do. Something has to change. So, talked to her about it, showed her some of the videos. She was like, this is nuts, but okay, we'll try it. I figured we'll try it for 30 days. We'll see how I feel. And is immediately, doing the 30 days and everything. This is before my legs got infected, by the way. But immediately doing the 30 days, then the 30 days turned into 60 days, and I was just feeling amazing, like amazing. And one thing that I have in common with Kelly Hogan, I watched her a lot too, and I learned from so much from so many countless people. I'll have to go make another video about how all the people that I've watched and everything, and who I've learned what from. But I had the same issue as Kelly Hogan had during her weight loss and transformation. I suffered from HS, which is, I don't know the medical term for it, it's too hard to pronounce, but basically it's reoccurring boils, and that was probably one of the worst painful things I've ever experienced in my life. And I tried diet after diet after diet, and the doctors, I've literally have had doctors say, I don't know, bad luck. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You've spent how many years in medical school and you're going to tell me bad luck causes boils? It's like, dude. And I'm like, well, it has to be part of my diet. No, it's not your diet. It's not your diet. It's just because you're heavy. And it's like, well, I'm sure that don't help, but you can't blame everything on me being heavy. It's like, okay, the sky is blue today. Is that because I'm fat? No, it's not, because, there's a reason for that too. It's not everything revolves around being heavy. So I was constantly getting upset. And on top of being 430 pounds and having swollen legs and feet and being asthmatic and doing all that, having to deal with the boils and the fear of, having a mess somewhere out in public or anything, it was just, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But my longest stretch on carnivore was 76 days, I believe. But in that 76 days was enough to totally make, even with having a few falls from falling off the wagon of carnivore, I still have not gotten back. And I'm thankful for that. My skin feels clearer and lighter and everything. I'm, not in 100%, but back to the falling off part. I went ahead and had to go to the hospital for an infection in my leg, and I stayed there for about a week. After that, I was like, okay, we'll go ahead and I'll excuse me one second. Need to take a puff on our inhaler. I'm getting so hyped up with this. But I went ahead and we both went off the wagon because I mean that's another reason Carrie and Lassie could Carrie. Oh my gosh, Larry and Cassie could relate. I could relate to them. Both me and the wife could relate to them because they're partners in crime, and me and my wife are partners in crime too. I fall off, she falls off. We like, hey, let's be bad together. We were both, going off the diet together and everything, but we had our fun and everything, and then just coming back, and we're both like, oh yeah, we're feeling like crap. Let's okay. So a couple weeks went by, boom, we started going back on it, and we got a membership to Sam's Club, and I started cutting my own steaks to save money, which I'll do video on how to save money on Carnivore too, because I got a lot of good tricks. But doing all that, doing anything I can to make my life easier eating this way. And then I had a very, very infected tooth and back. Granted, Larry and Cassie are going to know about this too, because I had, decided that enough is enough. I can't wait on anymore. I gotta get my teeth fixed. So that was another cog in the thing that I had to do. So I went ahead and was asking Larry and other people, asking around, and anyone had tensions. How are you going to do Carnivore? How did you do Carnivore on, with when you got your teeth, when you're healing, when you're getting your dentures and everything? How do you do it? And Larry was like, oh yeah, I had to go off of it for about 3 weeks, but after about 3 weeks and it got healed up, I went right back on it, and it was all good. And excuse me, I was like, all right, it's not ideal, but all right, I guess I'll do it. So we went to the store. I stocked up, bought some pudding, some soft stuff to eat, some mashed potatoes, and believe me, at this point in my carnivore journey, I did not enjoy eating any of that stuff. It was absolute hell eating that stuff, because I enjoy being carnivore. I enjoy my steaks, I enjoy my shrimp, I enjoy my meat, my bacon, and my eggs. I enjoy all of that. So after only 10 days after healing, because you can see I got the 10 teeth on the bottom pulled, my tops were already all gone, so I only had 10 very poorly working teeth on the bottom and one really bad infected one. I got all 10 teeth pulled at the same time. 6 out of the 10 teeth did not fully affect from the Novocaine, so I had to sit there, hold on to the dentist chair, and just say, just take it, just do it. I want to, because they were talking about, hey, you might have to come back, and I'm like, nope, I'm not coming back, just do it. It's only going to hurt for a second, so just rip it out. Long story short, I pulled it and put in my my intermediate denture and put in my upper one that they made me. And I went ahead, went through the 10 days. After 10 days, I was so constipated. And I think it was worse than it had been before, because my whole biome for my gut and everything has changed for all this time from being on carnivore. So it was like so much worse than it was. And not to get FYI on you guys again, but I had to go to the ER after 8 days of not being able to go, barely passing gas, any of that. I had a mass, like about a grapefruit sized mass blockage in me after they did the x-rays. So they fixed me up. I won't go into details. They fixed me up. And later on that day, I finally started getting back to normal, because after that 10 days, right when I got constipated, I'm like, heck with this. If my teeth hurt, I don't care. I'll just start eating soft stuff. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing the sad American diet anymore. I can't. I just can't. So I started eating ground beef and eggs and just tons of butter. And I figured, whatever, as much fat as I can eat, it's going to help push all this through. And after 8 days and after going to the ER, I finally started feeling better and things were getting back to normal. Now, since that 10th healing day, today is number 27 of me in a row, not messing up, not doing anything that I shouldn't have been doing, so I'm back on track. And now that I have a little bit more confidence, having a better smile and seeing an intentional carnivore, his story really touched me because a lot of people can say, "Oh yeah, I felt bad," or "I was a couple pounds overweight," or "I lost 40 pounds," or any of that. But not many people know what it's like to be that big. And Sean has been in the exact same place where I am. He's been this big, and he's actually lived through it. And within a year's time, he lost all that weight, and he's down to 188 pounds now, man. That is so awesome, but so surreal at the same time. It just seems like, man, is this going to happen for me? Is this really going to happen? But it's just like, okay, I got to keep going, man. I got to keep going. And little challenges, little things pop up every now and I get little cravings, and it's like, nope, I'm not going to do it this time because I have made a vow to myself after getting so sick from being constipated and everything, feeling so bad, saying I would rather fast for several weeks than to go through that again, because I'm never going to go through that again. Never. I will grind up meat and drink liquid meat before I go ahead and go through what I went through. And believe me, liquid meat, that would be pretty gross. And as much as I love meat, that would be pretty gross. But I will never go through that again. So here I am, 27 days in. I made my YouTube channel a couple months ago, and just kind of, I don't know, the fear of it or whatever. And now that I have a little bit more confidence in my smile, and hopefully I can get good at this. I'm a pretty charismatic person, as you might have already seen already. But I plan on trying to get better at editing and getting a little of that, Larry and Cassie style editing in there. Some funny memes in here, thrown in and out. But I'll do what I can. I still got to ask Larry where he finds his memes, because he has some of the best stuff, man, or where he gets it. But so yeah, 27 days in. I plan on, doing more videos, like what I eat in a day, what I eat in a week, grocery hauls, like what do we, plan out for groceries. And one video that I know a lot of you will really like is carnivores. We eat a lot of meat, and there's a lot of fat and a lot of grease. How do you prevent your drains from clogging up? How do you prevent all that mess and everything? I got little tips and tricks that I've learned along the ways that will help a lot of people with that too. So with that, I'm gonna start being more active and working. Like today, the reason why I was getting this video out so late, me and my son were out working in the yard, and I was clearing up this whole background area. There was a bunch of old boxes and stuff. I mean, it just took all day long to do that. But yeah, sorry for such a long video, but this had to get out there, and I'm just going to leave it as is, unedited. I downloaded CapCut. I'm going to start doing that stuff in there, start to, try to get it as a little bit in there, but I had to get my story video out there. So I will be doing more videos of whatever I can think of for that, and I hope to be seeing a lot more of all the other people on there. Maybe I'll get to be on someone's live stream and tell my story and everything, because my reason why, because I know Carrie would ask, what's your reason why? My reason why is because I want to live. I haven't lived. I don't think I've ever really lived, because I've always been fat. I've always been stuck in this prison of my weight. And if you've been fat all your life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I want to start living. And now that I found a way out, something that could actually free me from this prison, I'm taking it. And there's nothing that's going to stop me this time. Nothing. I don't care what it's going to cost. And, at this point, I've took all the doctor's advice. That was wrong. And it put me in worse spot. And by doing carnivore, I've cured things and felt better and reversed so many different things that the doctor just sat there and went, I don't know. So it's, it's a no-brainer. And I'm wanting to shout this out from the rooftops, and that's one reason why I can't wait to have that kind of results like the intentional carnivore, or Carrie, or anybody else has. And like Bill's going to be amazing, man. That is like one dude I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. That's going to be amazing when he finally steps out of his house after 4 years, man. I'm just so pumped for that guy. I know we could do it, but I know we all could do it. But another reason why I want to do this, I want to get this out to everybody. I want to shout it from the rooftops because there's something to it. It's like we found the Holy Grail, man. We found the missing link. This is the answer that many of us have been searching our whole lives for, and it's here. And this is just too amazing not to share it with everybody that I can share, because I'm already getting people, and this is one reason why I love our community. I love our carnivore community because it's somewhere we can all go and vent and talk about things and be like OCD about like, yeah, let's talk about it more and more, because we're so like ecstatic and we're stoked that this is how well this works. But yeah, we gotta do this. Gotta get this. My hope for carnivore is that it's a staple, that it becomes at least the ketogenic, some kind of ketogenic version of carnivore or something gets to be added as a standard, like the new standard American diet would be carnivore or ketovore or keto. That is my dream for the world, for this way of eating. Because for far too long, how many people have gotten sick and had things bad happen to them? My mom, and I miss her so bad. She died 14 years ago of melanoma, cancer in the mouth. And if I knew back then what I know now, and I could have convinced her that there was a way out there just from changing your diet, something as simple as changing your diet before it got even bad to that point, she might still be sitting here with me today. And it's so frustrating to find out that, you know, I just fantasize sometimes about going back in time and with the knowledge that I have now, but we're here. You can't do that. Fun to think about, but we can't do that. So we're 37 minutes into this video. We'll leave it as is. It's going to be up when it gets up. Again, this is Low Carb Carnivore, aka Archangel. I did a lot of my viewing under Archangel. And my name's Chuck, by the way, if you already haven't heard. I'm going to be doing the majority of my viewing and commenting everything on the Low Carb Carnivore now, because I'm trying to, you know, build this up and get my name known and help people whenever I can. And big thank you to Dr. Barry, to Intentional Carnivore, to Homestead How Carey, and to Anthony Chafee, to Dr. Sean Baker. All these guys, man, these guys are like, they're my heroes, you know, besides Jesus, of course. He's my number one hero. But these guys are awesome. And when you stumble across this, research the carnivore diet. You will not be disappointed. You know, sometimes it takes more people longer than others, and I eventually will lose the weight, and I eventually will get where I want to be. It's not a race, it's a lifestyle. And I will eventually get there sooner or later, hopefully sooner, but maybe later. But this is my lifestyle now, and there's no going back after this point. I went too far. I feel too good eating this way, and this is sticking. This is sticking, man. This is sticking. But okay, I'm going to wrap it up here. Look forward to new videos. Like, share, subscribe. You know, all the usual stuff. But yeah, look forward to more videos. I'll be brainstorming all day to try and figure out what kind of video I can bring you guys next. But, whew, man, I felt like I just ran a marathon with all that talking I did. That's another thing. I'm a talker. I am a talker. I can't shut up sometimes. But okay, I'm going to go ahead and find other stuff to do and wait for this to upload. Excuse me. And once this uploads, I hope that my story can get out there, and hopefully it inspires somebody. And hopefully at day 27 of my carnivore journey, when I'm day 100, 150, when I'm 2 years in, 3 years in, I could look back at this video and be like, man, I never thought I was going to be where I am, and just be there and just experience that. But you all know it could happen. Sean knows it could happen. Carrie knows it could happen. Kelly Hogan knows it could happen. All these people who did so well on this know it could happen. And like the Lindy, the Limitless Lindy, that's insane, man. All these people losing all this crazy amounts of weight. This is like, I don't want to say the magic pill because there's no magic pill, but this is the next best thing, man. There's no way that we could just sit and eat meat, steak, butter, eggs, bacon, pork belly. I mean, cheese, man. There couldn't be a better diet out there in the world. And when I say diet, this is one thing I did want to say. I'm glad I said that, because when I say diet, I don't mean like, oh, I'm on a diet. I'm doing this. I can't do that. I'm on a diet. No, I'm talking like a diet, like a species appropriate diet, like PhD, a proper human diet, as Dr. Barry would say. It's what we're supposed to be eating. We're on our correct diet. And that's why it's kind of crazy. Like, it's almost like our bodies were made to heal itself. Huh. Especially when we are eating the right things. Imagine that. Funny, right? All right, well, I'm going to get going. Again, Low Carb Carnivore. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys around on the next videos. And it's been nice rambling on forever and ever. And I'll be back at another time to ramble on more. Whoa. All right, take it easy, guys. Bye.